You mentioned about the drugs a while ago. You're not sure, but I mean, it must be a source where these things are coming from. They're there, or they're all expired and gotten away out.
I think the issue of the procurement of drugs is another major issues. In the press conference, we indicated that Dr. Natali was allowed the privilege of carrying drugs. He sourced, and he supplied, and he treats. I classify it as an internal market. There were issues surrounding, as I indicated, the expiry dates of these drugs. They were very close, 1 month or so. I like to talk about my personal experience because, you can't challenge your personal experience, right? There's only one incident when I was told by one of the practitioners that, patient was given an expired drug. And I called Dr. Natali and indicated to him, well, you can't be doing that. That is unethical. He indicated that in third world countries, some of the drugs, they have an expiry date and they can be used afterwards. But my response was the patient have a right to be told what drug they're getting. But that was, that was not continued. But the reason why I'm saying that, I'm saying it because people are allowed, and from my experience in the past, well, people are allowed to do things when there is no control mechanism in place and there is no people of integrity to stand up for what is right or wrong. Now, some people may say that where was the public officer in all of this?
Well, I'm about to ask that. Where were you and what were you doing?
The minister is responsible for policy, and the public officer has a moral responsibility.
But no, if it is something concerning people's health, and this is disadvantageous and so forth, or something, I mean, is the public officer wrong to speak out?
No, you understand the culture of this country. And a number of presidents have gotten blows because they decided to stand up for what is right. And the record will show that I raise on many occasions issues surrounding the modus operandi of this gentleman. And comments was made to the, such as, they cannot say nothing about the program. So they're attacking Dr. Natali. So there was, in my view, this gentleman was defended. By whom? For what reason? I don't know. But I want to say that, because a number of persons have said that, is the public asset responsible to ensure that all the documentations are there, etc., etc. But there is a price you pay when you stand up for what is right.
And you were not prepared to pay that price.
I'm not saying that. The comment, I have a responsibility to raise concerns within the public service. Okay. Not necessarily go and
okay.
Yeah, but that is an important thing.
Okay. All right, let's take this next caller. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening. First of all, I must thank Pastor Hood for, Minister Hood for letting us know what is going on in our health service at this time. And this question is directed to Mr. Gilchrist. Mr. Gilchrist, I think some time ago, if my memory serves me right, you were on Beyond the Headlines, I think, or you decide with Dr. Yearwood discussing certain issues at the hospital. Why then didn't you talk out about what was going on? And you knew for a fact what was going on. You knew because people complained to you about Dr. Natali's behavior, the way he treated patients, the way he spoke to patients. You all knew everything that was going on. and you all covered it. Why now you are jumping on the train to say X, Y, and Z? I am disappointed in you, Mr. Gilchrist. There is no doubt about it. And Minister Hood, you have to do something with the health service to get our health going properly. Thank you.
All right, caller, thank you very much.
Well, let me respond. Public officers have to behave in a certain way. I just want to recall, we did receive complaint, in fact, in writing, in relation to the Dr. Namatali from patients. And that was dealt with at the ministry level. The issue of coming to the radio or going on the newspaper and writing about an issue like that, I don't think it was appropriate then. At the Beyond the Headlines, we were discussing issues surrounding the value for money report, which speaks to the Imani's involvement in the operating theater. And if I remember, in that discussion, we looked at the issue of the right of the patient to receive quality care. So, though the caller may indicated that I should have.
But you don't know people think that way.
Yeah,
I mean, you're there. I mean,
people will say
I mean, you don't understand the workings of the public service,
yeah,
but mean that you should. I mean, you see, let me I've gone through the public service as well. Probably I can suggest a way, but I wouldn't do it on air as a journalist now, telling you how you can get your information out without you having to say it yourself publicly. You know what I mean? But you will find people saying to you, "Look, you should have, you should have spoken out at the time." But we have another caller line. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good night. Yeah. Let me say that I thank the minister for revealing what he has revealed, and I think the past minister and the Mr. Bradford seems to have some sort of tie-up. It seems to me that something was wrong somewhere along the line, and I must blame the past minister for not giving us, bringing us up to date on those issues. But also, just what you really said, I thought Mr. Gilchrist is the gentleman's name. I think he's ducking to some extent. I agree with him to some extent that he have to safeguard himself, being a public officer. But I think he's ducking, and since he started off, you could see that there are things that he was trying to hold back in saying, and there were certain things that he's saying that he didn't want to say. So it's a pity that you find yourself in a position where you could not have said what you really want to say, as how the minister said it. And I think that's the problem with you. You really was caught, and you really didn't want to say. You started up almost didn't want to say what you were actually saying there now. Even when you talk about your personal experience, you really didn't want to say anything, but you were caught, and I think that's the problem. In future, and I think the minister should look at it now. In future, let us forget the politics of it and deal with matters. Whether it affects who, deal with the matter, because I am satisfied with what the minister is saying now. That brings out the whole thing. While I agree that the gentleman would have experience and we should look at experience, but I think we will look at it from the bottom line. If it is wrong, and you can't do anything about wrong. Wrong is wrong, right way. And I think the minister, I must give you a hands up for that, for looking at the issue and dealing with it at the same time.
Okay, cool. Thank you very much. I notice in most applications you'll always find you never see one or the other, you see both. You must have experience and the qualification. And sometimes I even wonder, when they say experience, well, where will the youngster get qualification? You went to school, you come up with your certificates and so forth, and now you want a job, but you must have experience. So it's never one and not the other. Should be both. All right, we take this last commercial break and then come back for the final part of our program.